different channels. So, um, but I'm sure he'll see that, or if not, I'll make sure he gets the message. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I've got a whole bunch of stuff on my desk here. We're going to kind of use a whole bunch of different things tonight. I'm really excited to see what you guys think. I got a brand new phone today. So can you hear me okay? Oops, there's my old phone. Let me turn that down. I didn't know for sure if I'd see the, the comments, which I do, so I don't need my old phone. But um, just waiting another minute or so here, and then we'll get started. I hope everyone's having a great week. I can't believe it's the last Wednesday of September already. Hi, Michelle. How's the healing going? Hi, Crazy Cat Lady. Thank you, Lisa. Hugs back to you, Crafty Love. So I'm excited. So we're going to get started tonight. I'll go over some of the things we're using. I'm going to use a bunch of different cardstocks tonight. Lunch bag is going to be our base for our panel. I already have that done. I'm going to use some of the Autumn Comfort paper pad. You're doing good. That's good to know. I'm glad. So we're just going to use, I'm just using scraps from other cards that I've made. So I just have them stored in there. So we're going to use some of that. I'm kind of tossing some stuff out of the way. These are just extra thingies here. I am using some of the assorted color. I'm really bad with some of the names. I apologize. So I've got the orange out of this. Hi, Mercedes. Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for just following me. I've only been live on my channel a couple of times now that I figured out how to do it. Um, thank you very much. I love making cards. So this is the assorted cardstock base, and I have the orange out of here. I thought I colored out, but maybe we didn't use it. I also have the autumn, so I have some different colors. I think I have the brown. I broke out with your fall subscription box from last year to see what I have not used. I don't know how I missed that goal. Yes, isn't it beautiful? We're going to use some glitter stock tonight. We're actually going to have some here. I didn't use the mocha. Here's the mocha. Let's see if I can get it over here in the, I haven't even opened it yet. We used some of the pumpkin pie tonight. And then there's the spiced. And I think, is there one more color? Let me see. I have them over on the other side here. Yes. And then there's also the snowflake. And then the gold is now called Brick Road. And then there's, I don't know if it's called Poppy or Ruby Slippers is the red. And then there's the emerald for the green. So I'm going to put that aside because I've already got my die cutting done for tonight. I love the glitter stock. It die cuts beautifully. So I've got all sorts of die cuts here. Yes. Yep. That's that. I think, and now it's now called we've had we used to have an assorted pack of glitter stock, and now you can buy them. So this is kind of what we're going to make tonight. I'll bring that up a little bit. This, I don't have it finished, but I kind of started a prototype, but I've got this kind of idea off Christopher. He did his live, and then I did a virtual event this weekend where we made a Christmas wreath using that. Is there a variety pack for all the fall glitter colors? I don't know. Hi, Tia. I don't know, Lisa. If there is, I will put a link down below. I don't have a computer, unfortunately, so it's hard for me to put the links in. If Penny joins us tonight, I'll have her look. I don't remember if there's a variety pack or not. I bought some of the each because I like the colors. There's 10 sheets in each of those. Okay. I did pull out this old fall festival set. I want to use one of these. I do not remember if this is still available, but I did want to use this greeting. Use any greeting you want. I also wanted to suggest, go through your dies. If you have the old leaf dies or flower builder, this would work really well for this set. But we also tonight are using the fall leaf and the fall foliage. And this fall foliage is the die of the month. Thank you, Mercedes. I was really impressed with this. Is the die of the month. Look at all those dies. And then they're buildable. I didn't build all of them. I have some of them cut out. I just didn't end up having time. And then it shows you all the pieces on the back, but we're using quite a few of the leaves tonight to build them. And then the leaves from the fall leaf. I originally started, if you have the Merrymaker wreath, you can use this as your base. Hi, Valencia. Good evening. I love the scarecrows in that stamp set too, Lisa. I just got that stamp set this summer. I kept putting it off and I finally got it. You could use this as your base. I was going to use this as my base and then realized I was going to cover it up. So I'll use this for another thing. So let's get started. What I did is I took 2 circle dies from my stash and I just cut a ring out. That is what my base of my wreath is. And then I cut out a variety of die or flowers. So what I found, I have all sorts of stuff for us to work with here. These are this leaf from the fall foliage set. I'm gonna see if I can bring that up a little closer. It's kind of hard to see with my light over there, but I don't want to blind you guys. So yeah, it's too dark if I do that. You can see that a little bit. I need an overhead light. There we go. And all I did is I cut this out of the autumn foliage paper, and then I used the, I don't know if it's the mocha or the macchiato. I don't know the names of the colors that well yet. The dark brown for that. And I'm just going to use some liquid glue. We just started carrying the paper in stock again, so I have to learn all the colors, and I need to create a cheat sheet. That will help me. And I just put a little bit of glue on there. And then I'm just going to stick it on. I've already done this ahead of time because nobody wants to watch me do a bunch of gluing. And so I'm going to let that one sit to the side. You can put a block on it if you want. And so what I'm going to do, I just learned the techniques for wreath, and I've been making wreath cards for years. It's amazing. You know, I just started I haven't really made a lot of wreaths for a long time. And, I've used dies. And this weekend I watched the video for this class, but I haven't done the wreath yet. And I thought that'll be perfect for my live tonight. So starting with this base, I'm just going to take these leaves. That's what I'm going to start with here. I have, I laid them out ahead of time. Oh, I have a request for a video. I've never seen the velveteen glaze in use. All right, Michelle, I will get on that and we will use that. How about next week? Is that okay? We will use that next week. The velveteen glaze is very fun. Um, I will figure something out that we will do that. I am out of pixie spray and I love using pixie spray with it, but we can do that next week. I will get something started. I will work on something this weekend. So all I did for this is the first time you're doing it, you can die cut everything you want if you want. I started with just some leaves and then I went from there. I started with these leaves and then I went through what other leaves do I want, and I still kind of laid that. Lisa, the pixie spray, yes, I have some on order, but it's with my Christmas stuff, so it's not coming till the end. The velveteen, the spray, Valencia, this is just a glue spray. If you're talking about the velveteen glaze, that is a glaze that we use. Like it comes in a glaze package like this. This is the chroma glaze, but it's like this. But I will use that next week. It's really fun. We'll make a fun Halloween card with that. Okay. Yep. I think I still have the black. The black makes it really fun. It's kind of a matte finish, and it's just real fun. It's a different type of glaze. So I just put a tiny bit of glue. Okay. Yep. We will do the glues. I will do the glaze next week. Or if we run out of time today, I can pull some out and start using that tonight. So I just have a tiny bit of glue on the stem and the little bit. And what I found last night when I was making my card is that I just put it down. I don't care so much about it being glued anywhere else, just at the base. And then for me, for aesthetics, I found that it was the easiest to go directly opposite and try to kind of line them up instead of spacing them so that they're like partners. And then I found that I'm creating a document for the question for the glaze video. All right, you go right ahead, Lisa. Lisa, ask any questions you want next week. I will get them all ready and I will do my best to answer them. And if I don't know the answers, I will find the answers and I will post them in the group. And then I'm going to, because I have 6 of them, I'm just going to go ahead and stick one right here. I do want all of these leaves to go the same direction. And the other thing we can do is we can put them in the comments too. If there are some things I'm not 100% the answer for, and then I can answer those questions in the comments too. but I do love to use the glazes. I just don't use them always during lives because they don't dry. But I will make some samples up I and ahead of time, and then we will recreate them. How does that sound? And then, oh, I didn't do that one opposite this time. I did it the other one. That's okay. I was talking and not paying attention. So then I just go ahead and I put this one down. So if you do them opposite, I'm placing them perpendicularly, on, or parallel, I guess, not perpendicularly, because it's perpendicular like this. So parallel would be the right, I think is the parallel. So I'm doing them, I just want to make sure that they're all going the same way, but I'm just kind of layering so that they're kind of just opposite of each other, and see how they kind of, it's not perfect. We still got a little extra space here, but it's close. I think with glue, you could move it over a little bit. But that's just your base to start. And then this is where we get to go and have fun filling in. Now, what I did is I grabbed the fall leaves and I made, these are big leaves. So these are what I want to use next. Because they're so big. These were created with aqua pigment paper and a bunch of chroma mists. I used the sunset, the ornamental gold, and a little bit of bumblebee yellow because I don't have a lot of that left. You know what? I just figured that out last night, but wreath's gonna be a little, I mean, it's not, that's a little bit. So then I thought we go with these big leaves, and I have a ton of them here. Now, you can use all sorts. This one actually has a little bit of the golden gourd on it to give it some shine. So we're not going to use this one because it's the only one like that tonight. And I just cut them all out, and I'm just going to go ahead and place them in. And you can cut the tips off a little bit if you need to, if they're not going to stick down. But because we only put some glue at the bottom, we can go ahead and tuck these in. And this is one where I think I'm going to cut some of that off because nobody's going to see that part. And if you're not sure, depending on, this was a good tip that I learned, I didn't glue this one all the way down, is that, this is an A2 card, but I could put this in a 5x7 card envelope to send it in the mail because it does stick out. Or once I glue it down, we could cut some of them off too. But you could use your card base to kind of help you figure out if you're going to go over the edges. So we're just kind of layering and layering and layering until you like it. And if you've ever seen those here you can see I didn't even really use the die cut all the way to the end because I knew that side we weren't going to see. And I just did every other, kind of twisting them a little bit so that you can see the leaf underneath. Let's see. I ended up using the same one, so I'm going to see if I can grab the same one here. Doesn't really matter because these are two different leaves if you see the pattern on them. So I'm just going to snip that off because nobody's going to see that. And then just by putting a little bit in the bottom, you have room to grow and move things around. And you can always go back afterwards and put glue underneath if you wanted more space. Now, I do recommend you working on like a glass mat or one of those silicone mat type things so that if you have extra glue, that is. If your paste dries out like Getter Place, I don't know. I have not had a lot of them dry out. I have a few that I've had for now over 2 years, so they're starting to get a little bit, like this one is a little bit more dried. This one's more dried out. Well, this one's very dried out actually. So this one's very old. Like this was 3 years old, and this is the old style that didn't have this lid, that didn't have the plastic on it. And I recommend trying to use your product as much as you can, just because you never know with heat or cold, everybody's houses are different and dry. I don't know. I've never tried to rejuvenate these. I've done other companies without any luck. I don't have too many that have dried out. Like I said, this one is very, very, very old. I have found that I've tried, the gels now come in this type of a container. And they come with this little plastic piece. You want to save this plastic piece because this helps tremendously with that. And it fits like the press and seal always does. and it fits perfectly. I even, when I'm done, I save these pieces and I throw them in my drawer. I wash them really good and I throw them in my drawer with my pastes so that they can keep that. So um, I don't know, Lisa. I have not tried to do any rejuvenation of them personally, mostly because I've been trying to use them. Because I found I have a whole bin where they're older ones that I'm trying to use up more. And then if I buy more than one, I put an O on the old one so that when I look at them, I know which one's the oldest one first. Like, let's see if I have one here. This one actually has an N for new because I had two different ones. I'm not sure water, and it might be a little bit. Like I said, this one's starting to, it's not horrible, but I need to use it up. I don't really know a whole lot, but I will say always that's the best thing. The other thing you can do is you can also wash these jars out really well, and if you have an older one, transfer it to it. But I think it's fun to just try to use it. If you can, it's just like anything else, watercolors and adhesives and things like that. It's best to try to use them, and that's what we buy them for. I mean, I know we all collecting and using are two different hobbies, right? So here's our base of the card. And like I said, I didn't get that perfect there, so I have a little bit of an open space there, but I'm okay with that. I could throw another one of these in here. That's a different color because I had a different, but I don't know if I want to do that yet. Let's see. I think we're going to do that. Yeah, and I have a few that are like that. Um, I don't, if I say that, is it Mechi? Is that how I say your name? I have quite a few that are like that, that are kind of harder. I have found that if you can kind of spread them, what I've tried to do with them is spread them out on paper, like just flat, and then die cut them. Like shapes and things like that, like make glitter paper. Okay, so we kind of covered up that space. So now we're going to move on. I've got a bunch of other things. This is this die. I love the etching of this die. And this is some of the autumn foliage paper. I just had some leftovers. I love this one's the like orangey red with the polka dots. I thought this would add nice fun color. And once again, I mean, if you don't need the stem, just kind of snip that off and just add a little bit underneath, and we're just going to keep building our card. It would be fun to make this card. You can do it in multiple different colors. You could do them in greens, and it could be a Christmas card. I'm trying not to cover up the center too much. I don't know if I want to put that one right there. I might change this and put this on top of the orange. That's what I'm going to do there instead, because I want to put my sentiment in the middle. And I'm trying to use my bigger ones first, because that then I can fill in with smaller leaves. I have tons of these different color leaves here done, so I'm just kind of, cut that over. It can be any kind of, it's for fun. It's full. The more you put in, the fuller it can be. So it's up to you how full you want your wreath to be. Alcohol inks would be fun too. Yes, it would. And to make a fall wreath, you really could do this. You could make a Halloween. Christopher used the Merry Making wreath, to make a Christmas leaf because it has had those extra foil. This would be a basic. This would be a very simple, fast one to use this. And then there's 3 leaves, so you could just quick put on. This one is a little bit more time consuming because you have more die cuts to cut out and more shapes and things like that. But it's kind of a fun, different one. I don't think I would mass produce a ton of these because of all the die cutting and stuff, but so we might have to cut another one of these out because I think I added, let's put one here. See what we think. So my basic goal is to try to cover up the brown ring. And but you could do this for anything. This would be a fun card for somebody, in a team colors for somebody who's a really big sports fan, and this and that. And, you could do it in their colors, team colors, and make it a birthday card. Um, or for spring, do pastel colors. So now we just kind of have that. See how it's just kind of, it's got lots of dimension. And I still can go back to this if I want. I don't have tons of bright colors. Well, my niece would love to die cut for me, but she's pretty far away. But she would die cut. Actually, she would want to die cut and then use it. So I used some of that pumpkin to use a little bit of the glitter stock. I don't want to overwhelm with lots of glitter stock because I want just some fun pieces. I did do small pieces. Smaller leaves in this case. Vellum I also thought would be fun. I do have a small piece of vellum here that I thought we might be able to pull. And I'm just going to go ahead and start. I'm trying to find the spots that have that brown showing. And this is where I can just tuck them in somewhere. And they can be on top or underneath. I also find that you should die cut more than you think you're going to need, for sure. Just because you can always save them for another thing. Another card or whatever, but that way you have space. See, I have brown sticking there. And then I have a little bit of brown there. So I'm just going to add some more and then just trying to space them out. I'm going to use a different one up there. So I've got a little brown right here. So let's see if I can tuck that in a little bit. And I love that the little bit of bling that brings. The glitter, yes, it does. And, and I was trying not to go with too many colors on this case. And then I felt like it needed something. So I did go ahead and pull some red scraps for my stash that we're going to add. And that's going to throw in a huge pop of color here. Let's tuck this one in here just so they're kind of spread out a little bit. And then I've got some yellow die cuts here. These are the tiny, tiny leaves, right? Like this one. It's this die. It's fun because there's an acorn and a mushroom, so you could cut some acorns out to kind of give it. Or, like I said, I went in and I found some old dies. This is an old flower builder die that we don't carry anymore that has a flower and some leaves. And this is an older leaf die that has some other leaves that, but go through your stash, see what dies you have that have leaves and flowers and stems. And actually, this is a Spellbinders one, and I thought this would be a fun flower to add on top. But there's all sorts of for little things here and there. You could make a Mother's Day card if you made a smaller wreath and put an M and another M on the other side, and that would just say Mom, and that would be fun. With just different, your mom's favorite colors or some spring colors. The sky's kind of the limit when it comes to this because you can add fun papers, you can add pattern papers, you can add bling, and things like that. So just trying, like I said, to throw some in and cover up the wreath thing. Saw this lady take the red pins, sewing pins that had red ball, and she snipped them with her wire cutters. They made holly berries. I would be afraid that I would send the needle, but that's a cool idea because they're easy to get a hold of, and especially if you run across sometimes like at the garage sale or things like that, and have the little tiny beads. I actually have a friend who gave me perler beads, a whole bunch of her perler beads when she was done, and I saved those for something like this because they're teeny tiny and they're perfect for the center of flowers or something like this. So I grabbed those. Those are kind of a fun, they're a little bit different orange color, so I don't know if we're going to use those on this or not, but just kind of tucking some of them leaves in here and there. I think we'll add one more of these, and then we might glue this down to we'll use it, we'll get our sentiment on our card base, and then we'll add some red and kind of go from there. So there, see how this is, it's just kind of fun, like I said. And then we've got our wreath on here like this. And I love how these chroma glazes have the mica in them. so they have a lot of shimmer in those leaves. Or you could do a little, like I said, a little bit of the, I'm going to use some of the golden gourd. I hope it shows up good on here. Embossing powder. Let me put this lid on. And then this die set comes, with these buildable berries, leaves, and it cuts out. So I just cut up a bunch of the berries, and that's what I thought we could use as berries. That's awesome, Lisa. That's a great suggestion there too. To use it's funny how we have certain things we can use and on that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this in my mini Misty here. I'm gonna set my wreath kind of where see, this is where you could put it up to the top or the middle. I'm gonna put it right smack dab in the middle. Kind of rearrange it a little bit because that one's kind of off a little bit. Let's see, maybe we'll put that at the bottom. We might trim this. We might go for it and trim this. We'll see. Now let's go ahead and grab, this is that Fall Festival set. If you have some mini pumpkins that you can die cut out, or you could even stamp a pumpkin from a stamp set and use the die to cut it out. Or these scarecrows. So we're going to go ahead and just lay this right kind of in the middle. I think that's going to work. And then I'm going to pick it up. We'll fix it here. Just going to kind of zhuzh it with the lines at the bottom. And that's why I was kind of trying to see. Oh, that's a good idea too. I agree, Mercedes, but the other thing I have been doing is not necessarily cutting them apart unless they're in the center. I will show you what I mean. So this is the wreath from Merrymakers, but here's the berries for that. I just kept them all connected. I'm not going to cut them apart because I can rearrange them on there. So I did that. I try to keep some of them together. Now, when it comes to this is the Halloween party set. When they're in the inside, obviously I have to cut them apart. But this stick, I will cut these, and I'm going to leave these three together. These I did cut apart because of where they were. I don't know if I'll leave those together, but I tend to start leaving some of those little die cuts together because then they don't. But the thing I have found is I keep a little metal bowl on the side of my desk. It's full of stuff right now. Oh, and I don't have my bracelet on. I'm going to put oh no, I broke it. I'll have to fix that. I'm sorry. Lily, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I keep this little metallic bowl and the dies just plop in here. I got this off Amazon, but the dies just sit in there. And then you can just throw them in there and then they will stick. So that's one thing that I keep on the side of my desk for when I'm crafting, if I don't, if I'm doing a bunch of things. And then the other thing I have found, I don't know if it's in which container it's in. I want to show this to you here. This is, hi Lori Gordon. This is a magnetic so that if I drop a die on the floor, it picks them up. And this has been a wonder because I was cutting some dies apart earlier this year in one tiny piece, teeny tiny piece. It was part of the braid for the gnomes from earlier this year, flew behind my couch. So I just pulled the couch out and just went around like this and it clinked it up. Yeah, Mercedes, it's just stuff. You think you just do a metal bowl on Amazon and actually you can find one like that. It has a big magnet on the bottom. And it's just nice to keep on your desk. And then this is just, like it's an extended wand that, I've used it in my garbage can when I've accidentally done that, or I don't have to bend over under my desk and pick up a die because I'm being lazy. All right, let's get going on this card. We're going to do some heat embossing here. So I'll use my anti-static powder tool. It's been helpful. I think my honey gave that to me. I think it was in the garage area, and he's like, I think you can use this in your craft room. And I was like, absolutely. All right, we're gonna get the embossing ink. My embossing ink is a little dry, so I have an older pad, so I may have to stamp this a couple times. For sentiments, I like to just tap it a little bit, Now we're making a wreath card. I guess it doesn't, it's not 100% centered. But it's also leaves are falling, so we'll make it work. I don't know if I have it. Okay. So I'm just tapping it with my fingers because I don't want to distort the print because it's a nice font. And then, let's see, I need to do a little bit right there on that A. There we go. And then, Lisa, I should be on Facebook. Maybe it didn't portray. I thought I did it on the Brutus Monroe page. Maybe it's not in the fan club page. Where did I get the stick? My boyfriend gave it to me. I can find out. If you guys don't mind, honey, can you tell me what this is? Tom?
Yeah.
You gave me this this stick with a magnet on the end.
Oh, it's a telescoping magnet. Yeah, it's for my dad had it when he was a mechanic.
Okay.
Getting down inside looking at an engine block.
Okay, so it's a telescoping magnetic. You can it was his dad's from when he was a mechanic, and he used this when he needed to get into an engine. So you can maybe check there. I know that there's other ones available. So, Lori, Lisa, if you're asking if I'm personally on Facebook, I am on Facebook as myself, Candi Bandorf, but I don't use my cards on there. My cards are under Sugar Cards. That is my handle that I use for all of my social media on my Instagram and my Facebook page. Okay. And that's where you will find them. But if you do see me post in the British Monroe Fan Club, it will be under my name. So this is the Golden Gourd. This is a very subtle on the lunch backs. It's not going to be super. I might have waited a little too long on that, but may have to stamp that over again. That's why I left it in my Misty. Excuse me 1 second while I plug in my heating tool. I forgot to do that before we went. All right, so last time I did this, I accidentally hit the powder and it sent flying across the room. So I'm gonna try not to. Oh, Lisa, I am broadcasting on a few different channels. That's why. I am using a program that lets me allow to broadcast I'm on the Brutus Monroe channel, the Christopher Allen channel, the Brutus Monroe Facebook page, and I am also live on my YouTube channel, which is under Candi V Sugar Cards. So that is why you're hearing me talk to some other people too. From last year's fall kit, I don't remember which one that is, what embossing powder that is, but embossing powders can last a long time. I have some old ones, but I wouldn't recommend like keeping it for years and years and years. But they will last. I have some older ones that I've had forever. And it's fun to use them for different ones. It looks like this one. Hi, Ellen. How are you? This is, yep, the Golden Gourd. There also was one last year. It was called Autumn something. I have it back. Autumn Sparkle, maybe? And it's very similar to this one, but it had a little bit of glitter in it. They're fun to have. I love the Brutus Monroe embossing powders. They have lots of fun colors. That looks better. And lots of fun things for different seasons. So I have a few that I use periodically, but I haven't put them in Tupperware. I usually keep them in Tupperware. This is one that needs to go in Tupperware, but I'm slowly getting a huge tower of those Tupperware ones. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss this one more time. There we go. Now this is where you could make it, if you wanted to make this card, you could definitely make a change from what I'm going to do. You could spray or splatter your background, but I'm going to splatter my whole thing. I've only started using the perfect alabaster for my white. It is perfect. And Lisa, you know, what color was this? It was the Golden Gourd. I don't know if it will. Like, I got it. Let's see. I don't want you guys to like be blinded. Let's see if that helps with the Golden Gourd. The label might be different, but it's still available. Lisa, Gordon, I use the alabaster pigment ink with the alabaster embossing powder, and it is awesome. That's my favorite go-to because I find that it really makes it even pop even more, especially on colored cardstock. Especially if I don't get the perfect impression with ink, that the white ink with the white embossing powder just helps. That is my personal preference. Um, so, whew, now I'm blinded. You guys can see me there. Yeah, go ahead and try them. You do better leaving them in the containers. I do for most of them, but I have several that I use a lot. So then I have, so like I have my alabaster, icicle, fairy dust, gilded and sterling in those containers because I use them most. And I have multiple jars of them because I don't want to run out. But I do use quite a few of them for space purposes in their small containers like this. Okay, so here is the basic of our card. I don't know, Lisa, where I learned that from. I just started doing it once and I've never gone back, especially on like a black or a blue cardstock. It's very deep. So for my wreath, now that we've got this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm only going to put glue on this circle. Because then if we want to fluff up some of it kind of depends on your card. If you're going to mail it in the mail, you can fluff it some. But if you're giving it to it might get smushed, in the mail. But if you're going to give this to someone, you definitely could fluff it a lot and make a lot of dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I wanted to make sure it didn't stick out too much with my big leaves. And then to make it hold it last longer, hold it down, I'm going to put my Misty on top of it for a few minutes. Thank you, Ellen. We're using a bunch of the fall foliage dies, and I use the fall leaf dies to cut them all out. And then I may use one of these flowers here yet. I haven't decided yet. I haven't die cut any of those out yet. I'm just kind of, I'd show you, here's one of the other leaves. I did not use this leaf with this, but look at the detail in that. It didn't quite work for me. Thank you. This is like I said, the lunch bag cardstock. It's one of my favorites. I have a lot of it because it makes for fun cards. All right, let's see if that stuck. So here's where you can start kind of fluffing. That's a term that I learned from my friend Leah, who works over at Pink Fresh. She calls it fluffing, and you can kind of just move it up and around and things like that. It kind of depends on the card base, the card, how much you really want. And then this is where if you really want some things down, you can take your little thing and you can take this and you can just add a little bit extra liquid glue or stick it there underneath if you want it to stick down a little bit. I think we need to add a little bit more to this leaf though. I just did a pumpkin with that Autumn Scenes pad and cut out the leaves with the leftover crust. They turn out so cool. Ellen, you should share it in the Bruce Monroe fan club page. I would love to see it. Yeah, this is a fun leaf. All right, so now I've got berries. I don't know if I want to put the berries down on here. I haven't decided if they're gonna look okay. I think they're a little too red. I might use a different, some gems, but I did cut some more of these red leaves out. I do want to add some more red to this because, gotta have red leaves. These would be very pretty ink blended leaves. Okay, and they might be down. I am not a moderator on there right now, so hopefully it will be up. And if not, I will mention it to one of them. And I have not been on Facebook today. I upgraded our phones today to the iPhone 15 Pro. We had the iPhone 10s, and I was having issues with people like I'm using it tonight, which I think is really fun. Here, let's see. I might zoom in a little bit. I don't know if I can zoom in or not. Let's try it. No, it's not letting me. I'm still kind of learning this program, so I'll bring my wreath up a little bit closer. Actually, let's just lower this a little bit so you can get a little bit better view of my desk. Still new setup with this new camera. So I'll have to, play with the thing. So here's the card. up front. So I haven't been on Facebook a lot. So Ellen and I will go and check that out when we are all done here. So I'm going to just tuck in some more leaves here and there. This is where you could start adding some leaves in to fill in this empty space if you want. Let's see, what else do we have here? We've got some more of these. It's all up to you on how full you really want this to be. I try to keep them all attached to the wreath, but then just kind of fill in here and there. I think that might be most of the leaves that I have. Let's add another little red yellow one in here, and then we'll see if we think. Do we think we need some flowers, or do we think we just want to leave it with the leaves? What do you guys think? I'm excited to go look for it. I will definitely go look for it tonight. Texture is a fun one. So that way, like I said, if you use different pattern papers, or like I said, with vellum, I have some, this is an old paper that has some texture to it or some pattern to it, things like that. You like the leaves? All right, we'll leave the leaves. Like I said, we added some pattern paper to that. Let's see here. I will skip the flowers then. Just want to make sure it's kind of nice and full here. I don't think we're going to add, I don't think I want to do this, but I'm going to snip part of this off. And just see what happens if we tuck it in. Just to fill in a little bit more of this space that's right here. Okay, I think we're going to snip it off over here and then tuck it in. Oh yeah, I think I like that right there. That works good. So don't be afraid to snip off some of your dies and modify them if you're not going to see them, and just, because then I can use this little piece and I could stick it in somewhere else in reality. But I'm probably, this is quite the little piece, but like if I was going off the edges and things like that, that would work. All right, let's see here. I think we're getting pretty good on here. I feel like I need a couple more red leaves. So I'm going to go ahead. I haven't attached them to my other card yet, so I'm just going to steal them from there. We'll stick a couple of them in here. Stick one up in here. And then I feel like we need one in here somewhere. And then I think we've got quite a full wreath here. Stick it down over here a little bit. And it can be hidden. And then I got one more here. And then I did want to remind everyone that Friday is the last day for the challenge, and using some sort of foil paper, foil decal foil, hot foil, some sort of foil on your card or your project, and you could be entered to win a $25 gift certificate to the Brutus Monroe store. I will draw. It's over the weekend, but I'll try to draw on Saturday and post it on Saturday. And then the new challenge will probably go up. I'll try to go up on Sunday, but it will go up on Monday for sure. All right, so there's our main part of our wreath. I don't want to add a ton more to this right now. You know what, Lisa? I have learned sometimes to walk away, even if it's just go get a snack, go to the bathroom, get up and stretch, and then come back. But I think it was kind of fun just to keep adding, just so that they're, there's not a lot of red in here, but I'm okay with that. Now, this is where I'm going to change up my original idea. I got to move some things. We're going to add some splatter quick. So I am going to go ahead. I'm sorry. Here, I can turn it this way a little bit. I just don't want, so you guys can see. This is actually Create Your Own Ending box that I got from Brutus Monroe 2 years ago. It had all my stuff in it, and I made it a splat box. And I'm going to use some of the liquid Chroma Mist, the liquid pigments. I've got Sunrise and Copper Shimmer. And then, hi, Cherie. This one has the mica in the bottoms of these, so you want to make sure that you get them shook up real good. And sometimes, Lisa, it's nice to, if I don't know, sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a picture of what I'm working on and send it to my sister. And, you can do a crafty friend and say, hey, what do you think? Is this too much or not? That helps me sometimes a lot when I'm doing something because, or a crafty friend. And if I don't get an answer back, I just wait till they answer me. Yeah, Lisa, these are some of the new ones that just came out with the autumn release. So you just kind of want to mix them up. This one's mixed up real good. I still got some of the copper on the bottom of this one, but it helps with it not being cloggy. But I'm not going to spray them so much as I'm going to take the lid off and I'm going to tap. But I wanted it to fall on the background, and I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to have to turn this a little bit because I can't get my hand in there. And you could use, I have a friend who uses a paintbrush or a toothbrush, and they just kind of splatter with their fingers. And I just want to add a bunch of like fun. And this is a good way to add if you make a mistake, or like say your embossing isn't perfect and you get a bunch of embossing, like extra little things, then just add some splatter in a summer color. Okay, here's the copper. I haven't even used the copper yet. The pearl is one of my favorites. You know what? That is not working the way I want it to, so I'm just going to take some and I'm going to spray it on, I can't get the splatter I want, so I'm just going to go ahead and spray it on one of my ink blocks in my blocks here. There we go. And I'll grab a paintbrush. That's the usually way I splatter. You can flick it off, but I'm just going to tap it in and just tap it. There we go. That's what I want. And I get some of the big drops and I get some of the small drops. I tap it really hard to get some of the big drops. Like that, and then I kind of just a little tap. You can also take something else and tap like this, and that tends to give you a little bit drops. I'm getting wet everywhere. Okay, that looks good to me. I'm not going to worry about it too much being wet because we're getting closer to the end here, but we'll leave that there. And then we'll just add some gems to this. Oh, I don't know if this fell off or if this is part of it, and we'll just leave that out. So I think these ones I grabbed are a little too mauve-y compared to that red. So let's see what else I have. I've got the jewel gems. I'm not sure if these are back in stock right now, the jewelette gems. But those are not quite the colors I'm looking for. So I'm going to go through some of these. I have some browns, some oranges. I'm kind of leaning towards this one maybe. That's not red enough, but I'm just going to go through. I just keep them all in a little bin. I have a bunch of them. Here we got this red. We're going to use the red, I think. And then I just have these little trays. You can also get, these are little hors d'oeuvre trays from the Dollar Tree or Dollar Store. And those would work because they do have a corner you can pour them back into. I use those for my die cuts. So I keep my little die cuts in them. And then I'll add this to a card base after because it's wet. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this right in my little bin here. So my friend Tara gave these to me and I appreciate it. Thank you, Tara, if you're watching or watching the replay. And then I'm going to go ahead and use some of my liquid glue and we're just going to sprinkle them around on here and just kind of random spots. I don't know if I'm going to do things of 3 in each spot. I just thought I'd add a few here and there and see what I think. Yeah, they'll add just enough of a little bit of a sparkle to this. So the last couple of days to the subscription products for September. And then we will be switching over to October, on Sunday. So you might want to check that out if there's a couple of things you want. And then, the Merry Making event items have been released. They are available on the website. I did a text message earlier saying that they added a bunch of new products, new items to the store. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look, of that stuff. You always lose the tray, they get buried, everything. I try to keep mine off to the side, to the right here a little bit, and then I lay them inside one another. I have a bunch of these. I actually keep my, this is my Ranger for my ink blending. This one's for my embossing powder. I have one for my white pigment and my black. So they keep my desk clean. They just kind of sit there. But these I like because they can stack. And then if I fill them full of stuff, I can still stack them. So they're kind of fun like that. I think I am going to do little bits of 3 just because I think they'll look a little nicer. And then I'll put a couple up in here. I'm putting them kind of on this yellow. But you know, you don't always have to use the trays. They're just nice so that you don't have to pick up the pieces if you dump them out. I tend to just have things, I mean, my desk is a mess. And so after the live tonight, I'll spend the time just kind of putting everything away so that it's ready. Some nights I just kind of wait and I do it the next day, but I'll probably do that tonight just because I want to get things kind of packed up. All right, so we've got those kind of bits. I think we need to add a few more little berries here and there, just so we have some random berries. You know, we want odd numbers. And maybe I'll put one up here. I just kind of till I like it. I just add gems till I'm happy. I watch a lady that does reels for nap snacks, and she always says measure with your heart. So do berries with your heart. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. See, there's 15. I'm not going to put any more. I'm just going to leave them on like that. So there we go, you guys. I'll put those back in there. I'll bring it closer up to the screen so you can see the final card. I do need to put it on, I probably put this on a top folding A2 card base. I'm not going to cut the edges off of this because I really like this card. So sometimes, you could cut this off, like flip it over and cut these edges off. But I'll just put it on do I have one right here? That's a side folding. I want a top folding card base. You could make a card base out of lunch bag and put it on there, but I'm just going to do a white one. But it's kind of wet, so I don't want to flip it over. But I'll bring this up closer so you can see it. See if you can see some of the sparkle from the glitter stock and this sprays and the embossing powder. And then all that dimension and kind of texture. So thank you, Cherie. Thanks, Ellen. So that is our card for tonight. I will get it posted tomorrow in the Facebook group, and I will get some links up tonight to the products I use. So if you're looking for something in particular, I encourage you to go through your stash. And, I love this die. When I saw this die, I knew I had to have this die. So I got this one. This is the die of the month. I've had the fall leaf dies for a long time, but go through your stash and see if you can find some other leaves, because you might have, like, the poppy stamp set that we came out earlier has a nice fun kind of funky leaf that you could grab and make them, and use different sizes, big leaves, small leaves, different textures, different colors, different pattern papers, and mediums to make your cards. You could even do some glitter glaze cards and then die cut them out. Thank you very much, Mercedes and Michelle. Thank you, Lisa Gordon, very much. Lisa Gordon, that is one thing that I've started to kind of over the last few months is go through more year-round things that I can use. Like I said, I saw this one. This is the die of the month. And I just thought, as soon as I knew it was coming out, I knew I was going to order it because I like the fact that you can do the different, these buildable leaves here. This is what it looks like. Look at all the dies you get in this. And then you can do it however you want. I mean, you've got this one doesn't, it doesn't fit in there perfectly. That one does, but it would work. You could put it behind and make it longer. This one works in here if you want different things like that, or put them behind. You've got all the little buildable berries if you want. The little tiny pieces for the tippers right there. but just real fun. And so this is a good one to have for your stash because you can make lots of leaves out of this. Thank you, Lisa. Is this going in my sample notebook? This one will probably end up going to the store, Ellen, when I mail in my samples. I tend to send in most of my samples that I make, but I do have another wreath that I haven't finished yet. It's obviously look at the difference. This one's a lot more wide. This one's a lot more centered. So I'll probably make one for myself too. It just kind of depends on if I keep them for samples or if I send them out to somebody. So yes, anything you can use. I like the fan leaf in there. Yep, and the berries exactly. You know, you can use, and these berries work. Same thing with this wreath. I mean, it's not just a Christmas wreath. If you look at this is, I mean, I made this an orange and brown one. You can do, Christopher made one with purples and blacks and greens. It doesn't have to be just for Christmas. There's a beautiful bow that you can do. So you could make a beautiful bow to put on here if you wanted to. And it's got these other leaves. So um, that's one thing that I've been kind of looking for is more things that I can use year round for things like this, fall, spring, Easter, things like that. Okay. Well, thank you guys. I hope you had a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you next week and have a great evening. Don't forget to create something, whether, Christopher will say like a wreath card or just to create something every day, have a great night. Love y'all. Bye.
Absolutely beautiful to listen to.
Hold on. It's not ending.